Alright guys, what's up? It's time to talk about Tori, One Piece.
What? This isn't Toriko? I mean, there was a giant, unbelievable creature that can't possibly exist that has a friggin' island on it. This has to be Toriko.
Yeah, are we sure? Oh no, I see the swirly drawings. Yeah, it's Oda.
Yeah, don't adjust your computer screen. This is the One Piece Chapter 802 review.
Yeah. And that cover page though, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean the color page, not cover page, but whatever. Same
Well,
thing.
if I remember correctly, because I don't have it in front of me, I believe only some of the Straw Hats were in like a samurai theme,
Yeah, the East Blue Straw Hats.
which could be a possible hint as to who who will get focused on in the Wano Kune arc.
Could be. Oh wait, and
Meaning,
Chopper. Oh,
oh,
I
and
missed him.
Chopper was. Eh,
Yeah, Chopper. He's like in the corner, so I missed him.
well, I mean, is he in samurai getup?
Um, it's hard. I mean, kind of, sort of. It's hard to tell because it's so small.
Well, who knows? But for now, onward to Zoe,
Yeah.
which is the title. Zoe's the title of the chapter. So I guess Oda decided, okay, I stretched out Dressrosa. We've left Dressrosa. Let's just get to Zoe already.
Mhm.
He's like, okay, I'm going to show you some stuff, and then we're just going to skip ahead a week to them getting to Zoe, which is funny when you think about it because everything that's happened since they left Fishman Island to the point right before he skips ahead a week has been less than a week. I
Mhm.
think it might have been like 5 or 6 days
Right.
totaling since they actually broke the surface of the waters and actually got to the New World.
Mhm.
So the fact that after having a nearly the most chaotic first week in the New World you could possibly have, they just spend a week chilling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be getting a Straw Hat Crew reunion anytime soon because Sanji and them were on a regular old island,
Or
not on
were
the.
they?
Well, there's a lot of theories saying that maybe the elephant dipped down was dipping down at the time,
Mhm.
or and then there's the other theory where there's actually water on top, like there's like a whole friggin' sea on top of this elephant that surrounds the island that's on his back,
Oh.
which would be even more Toriko-ish.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I was saying to you before, is this do like these does like Oda just sit there and go out to lunch with the other mangaka and say, okay, how can I incorporate something from your series into my series?
Mhm. Now speaking of Toriko, this is what I wanted to see out of the new fucking world. Stage
Some
hazards. Yay.
No, we're not supposed to do stage hazards. They're supposed to all be in their Omega form.
Yeah, they gotta be neutral. Neutral stages, man. Fox only, Final Destination, no items. You know.
No, but seriously, yeah, this is getting into some heavy shit.
Finally, hail, giant hail, sea
You
kings,
know, I
giant
wouldn't call it
fucking
giant
elephant.
hail. I mean, the perspective. I mean, the perspective makes it look giant, but according to the translation I read, they were the size of human heads.
Which is giant for hail, considering how hail is like.
Yeah, but remember, this is the crazy weather of the One Piece New World. I mean, it's nowhere near the level of the crazy weather of the Gourmet World in Toriko, but still, it's you would expect something super crazy like if hail to be the size of a giant instead of the size of a human head.
Well,
But
it's still like it's doing some serious
it's
damage to them. So
not that they care. They're just
yeah.
I don't know whether to like reading this chapter. the parts with the Bartow Club, I didn't know whether to laugh or to facepalm. Like, the big question that everybody who's read this chapter, the same question passes everybody's mind. How the fuck did they make it to the New World? No navigator, and anytime, and I mean anytime they run into trouble and they need to ask someone what to do, they call their grandmother back home.
Uh-huh.
Like Bartow needed to get any crazier.
Yeah, maybe they just have some like better luck than Zoro.
Like, it's so bad that friggin' Law, like the Straw Hats, for in the eyes of Law, who's the I guess you could say the third party here, the third party person here. The Straw Hats sailing with the Straw Hats is like heaven compared to these guys.
And that's saying
Like
something.
even worse. Like it's one thing if a third party person says, "Oh, you're sailing with you guys is worse than sailing with the Straw Hats." That's one thing. But when the Straw Hats themselves say that you're bad, you know you're bad.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on. Luffy called out to Nami.
Mhm.
Like, of course, the only person from the Straw Hats that was just there was one Straw Hat who was having a ball, and that was Robin.
Of course.
Honestly, that aspect of her personality reminds me of another prominent member of the forum, Link, and how he just loves to sit back and watch the chaos unfold.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, I think one of the surprising things was the fact that Law is now referring to Usopp as God.
Mhm.
I just thought that was hilarious.
Of course,
And then
Law.
Usopp went out, turned into Chopper for a second. Was like, oh no.
Mhm.
And then you just see Frankie with like his angry face, and Usopp's like, okay, I'll be quiet.
Mhm.
And then just to make matters worse, not only do they have to call the grandmother back home every time they get into trouble, but everybody gets seasick. It's like, how? Like, the Straw Hats had enough quirks to keep us laughing
Mhm.
when necessary. We don't need we don't need more comic relief. There's plenty. There was more than enough in the series before. Like, this is just some real it's not like I might sound like I'm saying, oh, this is horrible, but it's just hilarious. But at the same time, makes me want to facepalm.
Mhm.
So then we go on to the um the next part of the chapter, which is the thing that I think is what people are talking about the most, and that is the quote unquote self-proclaimed Whitebeard Jr.
Yeah.
Edward Weeble, the seventh warlord.
Mhm.
So all our unfortunate Oda, like, again, this brings back the point. Oda, are you having lunch with other mangaka? Because everybody and their mother was thinking, oh man, this last warlord's got to be someone like that just looks has gonna have some amazingly badass design. It's gonna have some insane stuff in their character, with their personality, with their techniques, and some were even saying, oh, it's gonna be like someone from Wano Kune. No, it's just this idiot. Which, granted, yes, he's an idiot, but he's an idiot that's strong.
Oh yeah.
Now, I need some more information, specifics on the details of his hit list, because the way it makes it sounds like this guy's been taking out Captain Commanders,
Right.
which no, or not Captain Commanders, Division
Division
Commanders.
commanders. Yeah.
So it's like okay, well if this like you can't do that because I mean the Division Commanders are just like in are the like the top of the cream of the crop.
Mhm.
So I mean, but you could also sort of interpret it as like the Allied pirate crews, you know, like Whitey Bay and the DeKalvin brothers, like those type of people is what he could be, because he called them sons and daughters
Uh huh.
too. So it's very vague at this point. But the fact that he's doing this is both both odd and while at the same time being a testament to his abilities that he can actually take them out.
Right.
Now, since now he seems to be setting his sights on Marco. So, again, this is going to force us to finally find out what happened to Marco and the rest of the division commanders, because I still don't believe that the division commanders would be taken out so easily.
Right.
And more specifically, off screen
Uh huh.
by a character we've just been introduced to.
Mhm.
You know, it'd be one thing if we were talking about like one of the Yonko, and then we find out, oh, the Yonko has been going around taking out Whitebeard's former crew. That'd be one thing. But this is a guy who literally did not exist in the eyes of the readers until today.
Yeah.
So, so as for his design, he looks weird. Like even though they gave him the freaking giant ass white mustache, I still don't think he looks anything like Whitebeard. So I mean, I'm
No.
on board with anybody else who has a brain, and that is that he's definitely not Whitebeard's son. I mean,
Hmm.
anybody who has a brain should know that. Come on, he's not. Everything in this chapter said, if you read in between the lines, that no, he is not Whitebeard's son. Like the government didn't even go through the effort of trying to check that,
Right.
see, to check his claim. And then when you get to meet the guy's quote unquote mother, because that I don't even believe that's even his mother.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
there's like Ed like he wouldn't be able to get it in there. Like he just
No.
wouldn't be able to get it in there to do it. And everything about Whitebeard's character would say if he had a girlfriend slash wife and they had relations and they had a kid, he would not abandon them.
Yeah.
So what most likely happened is this lady must have had some sort of obsession with Whitebeard, probably some type of crush, but he never liked her because she was probably always butt ugly.
Yeah.
And then so she and then for some other reason she has a freaking Nami complex. She's obsessed with money.
Mhm.
And then she found this guy, realized that he was strong, and pretended to be his mother, and told him that his father was Whitebeard. Which, I mean, this guy had to have been like a young child at the time. I mean, there's no way that this guy is that dumb that as an adult would say, "Hey," just suddenly some lady just comes up and say, "Hey, I'm your mother, and your father's Whitebeard," and then you just believe it. Like, no, not even any. I don't think nobody in this One Piece universe is that dumb. I would hope, or at least I'd hope not.
Uh huh.
So, as to what I mean, this guy has nearly a bounty of what, 440, 480?
It was 480 million before.
He became a warlord. So,
Mhm.
And the fact that he's done when he's done, you know he's no joke in terms of power.
Yeah.
So anyway, we after finding out that his mother, quote unquote mother, is obsessed with money, just conveniently right after she gets a newspaper delivery and sees, oh, Monkey D. Luffy in the newspaper with his new bounty, of course.
Mhm.
So now she's like, oh, let's go after him. Marco protected him in the War of the Best. So Luffy, obvious, that automatically means Luffy knows where Marco is. Not that, I mean, when this part gets animated, you're going to see, like, his mother's eyes turn to Barry,
Of course.
just like with Nami.
Mhm.
So does that possibly mean that this woman who's obsessed with money might end up actually being turned out to be Nami's mother?
Or grandmother.
I would hope, at least, because I mean, granted, yes, grandmother would make more sense because she's looks old as sin.
Mhm.
But if that's what we're if that, a wise man once said that if you want to get a look, you look at what your woman's gonna look like when she's older. You look at her mother, and grandmother. And if
Mhm.
that's Nami's grandmother, oh my God, Oda, please don't do that to Nami.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now it seems like they're gonna go after Luffy. So we may get an encounter in Zou or Wano or whenever, wherever, who knows? At some point in the near future, most likely,
Yeah.
we're gonna get Luffy versus Weeble, and he's supposedly, people are saying he's like his power is comparable to that of a young Whitebeard. Now, the way I interpret it was not prime Whitebeard, but young Whitebeard.
Yeah, like in his younger days. Like way well before he had hit his prime.
Before he had his prime.
Mhm.
Because because the other interpretation, which is what some people are saying, is that they're trying to say that this Weeble is as strong as prime Whitebeard, which would mean that he would be on Yonko level, which is like would be completely ridiculous for
Yeah.
just some random person that we have never heard of to just show up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, I'm on Yonko level.
If he was as strong as Prime Whitebeard, he would like
He would
wipe the
he
floor
would
with anybody right now.
he would be a Yonko. He would be a Yonko.
And he would be destroying everybody. He would destroy Shanks, destroy like everybody.
Everybody. So this guy is definitely not as strong as Prime Whitebeard.
No.
But being supposedly as strong as a young Whitebeard, and him going up against Luffy, honestly, in my opinion, that's the perfect next opponent for Luffy. Because, in my opinion, even a young Whitebeard would mop the floor with Doflamingo.
Probably.
So if this guy is as strong as a young Whitebeard, this will be a very good stepping stone towards a Yonko. Because, as we all know, with the structure of the first half of the Grand Line, just like with pretty much any shonen, is the opponents get stronger and stronger as you move along. So if we want to see how if he wants to make the gap to Yonko, he's gonna have to face opponents stronger than Doflamingo, but we don't want, straight up admirals and Yonkos. Because the admiral, actually, now that I think about it, this guy, if he's that strong, as we previously stated, that would actually be admiral level, I would think, or very close.
Yeah, he might be. I
mean, it sounds like it, because because there's that whole gray area as to really what's the power difference between an admiral and a Yonko.
Yeah.
I mean, from what we can tell, a Yonko's probably there's a there at least from what we saw with Whitebeard versus the Admirals in the Marineford War, I would say a Yonko is the difference in power would be pretty big. But that was a whole mess of craziness, so
Hmm.
it's really hard to tell. So that's definitely going to provide a nice challenge for Luffy.
Yeah.
And depending on when that happens, you know, could also provide some other good potential possibilities for the other Straw Hats. Who knows? Because as far as we can tell, it's just Weeble and his mother.
Hmm.
So, and then the final part of the chapter is the arrival at Zoe, which is an island that's on the back of an elephant that's been walking around the New World for 1,000 years. So,
Yeah.
other than its insane design, just think about that. This thing's been alive for at least 1,000 years,
Hmm.
and the entire time it's been housing this mink tribe or clan or whatever of
Right.
people. So yeah, it's pretty safe to bet that we're gonna get some pretty dope information about the Void Century in this arc.
Hopefully.
I mean, this, the one thing that that seems to be pointing for in this Zoe arc is that it's not only is it going to be a fairly short arc, but it's going to provide in that amount of time we're going to get a ton of over progression in terms of the overall story of the series. I
Yeah.
feel,
I would hope so.
which is going to be good. Now, like I said, what's going to happen? Who knows? I wouldn't expect Oda. The reason why I say it's going to be short is because it's just a lot about like everything is pointing towards Zoe being a stepping stone to Wano Kune.
Hmm.
So, and if that's the case, then if you want to, it would, if you want to really compare it to anything, it'd be like, oh, this is going to be the Punk Hazard to the Dressrosa, or the Jaya to the Skypiea, or the Water 7 to Enies Lobby, that stuff. Where
Hmm.
it's just a setup for the next arc, which is going to be the major one of the two. Now, think so that's definitely going to provide some very interesting information. Hopefully, sometime soon we'll get a reunion. I don't know how soon because we don't know the full details of what's been going on with Sanji's group. I mean, for all we know, the island we saw them on is what the island on the is the elephant is Zoe. So,
Yeah.
way to go, Oda! Another amazing chapter, and I can't wait for more.
Hell yeah, man. This was a great fucking chapter. So let's fucking go, Oda. Keep going.
Yeah.
Ganbatte.